Okay, a few mind blocks that we'll start by debunking. First one, Yeshua's name change. Yeshua's name change came after persecuting of his followers and his crucifixion, basically despising everything that he believed in. After the Roman Empire wouldn't succeed with converting back his followers, they adopted Christianity. In doing this, they changed his name also now to Jesus, which is oddly very similar to a Greek god, Zeus. And it was painted now with blonde hair, blue eyes, like a Caucasian, while he was born in Palestine and studied in Egypt. Okay, that's the first one with the banking. Okay, also, we're gonna look at the similarities and differences between the Yeshua in the Hebrew scripture and Jesus in the New Testament of the Christian Bible. First one is in church nowadays. Church, you pay 10% of your income to the pastor or to the church, and for every service, there's what is this called? I'm remembering it in my language, my native tongue. It's called umnikelo, where you basically give money, and this doesn't happen once in a service, sometimes twice in a service, on top of the 10% that you're paying. So basically, there's emphasis and repetition on money and giving that is coming from the poor, the ordinary people, to the pastor who already the church has probably bought or built a house for, bought a car for. The expenses are almost all paid because they're getting an income from the 10% of the whole congregation, and their ashes and all of that. And I just want to have these points down because I'm a bit distracted to actually do the whole thing now. Oh yeah, so that's Jesus in it's being preached about in the modern day Christian churches, right? The Yeshua and the Hebrew scripture actually beat up the merchants and false religious leaders that were taking advantage of the people of God who were coming to the temple. They had turned the house of God into a marketplace, basically. So that's one, that he values spirit of God, or the reverence of the Most High, more than the money, the silver and gold that's being exchanged there. Didn't even play the way he felt so strongly about it. They say he used a shambok to beat them out of there. So he did not tolerate it at all. Now think of him as he's written as this peaceful person. Oh yeah, which reminds me of another one. He used, his repetition was on more of peace, like he made it his greeting, peace be with you, when he starts his teachings, or when he's meeting up with the disciples or the people who want to listen. He'd repeatedly been known to say peace be with you. So with repetition, he knew that it installs a certain program, or if it's repeated enough and your ears hear it, you understand it with your mind and your heart accepts it, it becomes a part of you. So he was basically delivering peace with each greeting. In churches, this day and age, I don't hear the emphasis on peace. It seems like the emphasis is on the collections. Yes, that's what it's called. I haven't been in church since grade 7. I saw through the whole hypocrisy and the performance, and I was like, I'm not gonna go there every Sunday and lie to myself and lie to God. Who am I fooling? Because I can't fool God. He knows every strand of hair in my head. Because I would read the Bible by myself, and I realized, no, this is all an act. It might actually be angering the God that I communicate with, because I don't know which one they are talking about. So let's leave that. Okay, that's another difference. Okay, so his skin color, his hair color, the painting is different from how it's described in the Hebrew scripture. Him having a bronze skin that's like it's burnt. Yeah, like a burnt bronze skin. And woolly hair, not straight hair. It's right still in scripture. That one was not taken out, luckily. So now we have an idea of how he might have looked like, but we obviously not 100% sure because we don't have a photo of him. So the Roman Empire decided to paint him, and they painted him to be just like them. And however, he was considered a Jew, and Jews were different from the Romans at that time. They were the slaves. And and Yeshua lived amongst these Jews, these slaves. So, and Judas had to betray him and point him out. I would imagine if he was a Caucasian or white-skinned amongst dark-skinned people or brown-skinned people, you wouldn't need a friend that's gonna point him out and waste your dirty silver coins for someone that just pops out, because duckies. There's a white one there. It's that one. Bring him. Yeah, what? But hey, we need a someone who knows him to point it out so that we sure you don't see that straight hair right there amongst these woolly hairs. So basically, the Judas's job wouldn't have been there, and it's a big part of the whole story, which means it was very necessary for the Romans to actually pick out the right person. What does that suggest? He looked just like them. Okay, and then scripture that I think I read, First Testament, God himself, I think, says that you cannot buy me with gold and silver. Yet, however, now I've mentioned 3 ways that people are made to pay in church. It's not one way where it's like a devotion of 10% of your income to help the poor, which was actually what I think the 10% was coming from. Because when you have now the culture of giving is good because we're all a community, you should give to the less fortunate. If you're gonna tithe like that. But now people are tithing to already rich people who have private jets, some of them. doesn't it defeat the whole purpose? Okay, so that's another point. And then we're gonna get to now. Let's leave the religion part just a little bit. Before that, the British monarch, they claimed that they were given the right by God, the Christian God, to rule every land that they set foot in. No matter if there's people living there or whatever, they have to change them or enslave them, but they should own. They're given that right? However, in medieval Europe, before Christianity, before Yeshua even existed, already they were using that tactic. They would go to another place or another kingdom. They would start a battle or war with them, and when they win or conquer, they take over the land and they rule there. And the spoils of war, like those the people that are left that did not die, become their slaves and all of that. Who gave them the right then before that? At that time, I mean, if it was the Christian God that gave them the right to enslave and colonize the whole world. See, there is something's not adding up there some way. So we're going to talk about that also. This is basically now a summary of what we're going to be looking at, and so that the people who are interested in exploring the truth more and actually thinking for themselves know exactly what we'll be going into. And those who are not ready to hear the truth and want to hold on to their illusions, then they'll know that this is not for them. Nothing's forced on anyone. But I believe in the truth, because if you're going to lie to yourself also, then you're also performing. Who are you performing for? Rather, you know the truth and then you make the decision if you want to continue with the way you were doing things or not. But not to be deceived into doing it. You'd rather do it knowing. Well, that's how I see it anyway. Okay, now we're going to put a cap on the religion part for now. Now we go on history. So Europe, or the people from Europe that colonized the world, they claimed that they brought civilization. They started civilization and they brought civilization to Africa and all of that. However, there is a point that everyone is kind of missing in this lie. The Black Plague. What brought about the Black Plague in Europe? Wasn't it unhygienic conditions, the sanitary conditions, what is this called? Irrigation. They didn't have irrigation technology. Apparently, in their castles or in their palaces, the nobles would just shit in corners. Could find a corner somewhere they shit there, and then the servant would have to come and clean it up. But then they just go and store it downstairs, down on the basement of the castle, or something like that. And the stench would fill the whole castle still, coming from downstairs. And so there would be flies and all sorts of parasitic infestations that they had a jolt, they had a nice time, they had enough food. These insects or parasites or animals that are disease causing. Obviously, there'd be sickness that would be widespread in those kind of circumstances. Plus, they were afraid of the sun. So the healthier ones were the servants, the poor servants that would work outside. They get some sun. The nobles, believed that the sun was dangerous. It burns humans. So they stayed indoors largely, which would make sense as to why they were shitting indoors if they didn't have a toilet. Because at least there's an outside, you can go do your stuff outside. But they didn't because they were scared of the sun. So they'd end up being super pale, the nobles. To me, that does not sound like civilization. I don't know to you guys, but it sounds very backwards. If you didn't even have an irrigation system, you couldn't make it function while you're dying. Like people are dropping dead because of this problem. Yet you are the most civilized race that introduced maths and science to the whole world. Something's not adding up there. Okay, then we're gonna get to the fact that all credit for maths and science and civilization was given to, and philosophy is given to the Greeks. However, all of the great Greek philosophers and mathematicians and scientists seem to have one thing in common. They all studied in Egypt. They all were learning from the priests and priestesses there in Egypt. Excuse. So how did they end up being the ones that civilized the teachers, taught them? Like, I'm not fighting here. That's why I'm being fair enough to give a breakdown of the things that we are going to be looking at in this series. We just need, it's that time for the whole truth to come out so that we don't just believe, we're not living life blinded and deceiving each other, and we end up not knowing where's left from right. That's not conducive for any society to function. If now things are put in their right place and we all know what is true and what is not, then we can start building proper. All of us, not excluding anyone, we start building proper. Everyone knows their strengths, everyone knows their weaknesses. Now a better society can start that way. Oh, there's a lot. That's why I decided to make this a series instead of just one talk. But that's a breakdown of, just so that you know, if you're interested in that stuff, then stay tuned. It is coming. We are going to go in on it, but with some sensitivity, of course. And those who are not comfortable with this sort of stuff, I totally understand if you can't stay for the series. However, just know that you are deceiving yourself now. So in future, when things are not going well, you can't blame the people who first deceived you. If you had an opportunity for your mind to be awakened and get the truth and you still turned away from it. I love you guys. Let's do this. It's time, and I have this knowing, this undisputed knowing that if we let the truth out, we truly can start building a golden age. And we can only do this if we're working together, né? Enjoy, have a good night. First episode is probably gonna come out tomorrow, if not tonight. But this is your breakdown. I thank you.